I've been using the Asus Zenbook Duo for a while now, and I have to say it's a really interesting device, one that has slowly become my daily driver. Now, to be clear, at the exact moment of filming, I haven't technically used it for weeks, but by the time this video goes live, I will have been living with it day in and day out. I first saw this laptop back at CES 2024, and right away, I knew I wanted to get my hands on it. It felt like the natural next progression in laptops for someone like me who needs performance, flexibility, and most importantly, more screen space. At the time, I was very happy with my Surface Pro 11, which had been my main device for months. I even made a full video on why I loved that machine so much. The form factor, the power of the Snapdragon X Elite processor, the great screen, the tablet-laptop hybrid feel, and most importantly, the ridiculous battery efficiency that chip brought. The Surface Pro 11 was a beast, but as much as I liked it, there was always one issue that kept creeping up: screen space. 13 inches is fine for everyday tasks, but when you're doing professional work like video editing in DaVinci Resolve, Lightroom, or juggling multiple productivity apps, it starts to feel very cramped. So when CES 2025 rolled around and I saw Asus had refreshed the Zenbook Duo with Intel's brand new Arrow Lake processors, I was immediately curious. Now, I'll be honest, I've become something of a Snapdragon fan recently because of the incredible balance of performance and efficiency. Intel, on the other hand, hasn't always nailed efficiency in laptops. But Lunar Lake and Arrow Lake looked promising, with big promises about power and efficiency improvements. I figured this would be the perfect time to give it a proper shot. So I reached out to Asus, and they were kind enough to send me the latest Zenbook Duo so I could test it full-time and really push it in my daily workflows. So what makes this laptop so different from a normal one? Well, the name gives it away. It's the Duo. And yes, that means it has two screens. Now, at first thought, that might sound gimmicky. A laptop with two screens could easily be a clunky, awkward machine that sacrifices practicality just to be flashy. But honestly, Asus has done a fantastic job in terms of design here. When the Zenbook Duo is closed, or even just opened in standard laptop mode, it doesn't feel drastically thicker or heavier than a normal laptop. You wouldn't even notice at first glance that it's packing dual displays. The clever part is how the keyboard works. It's a Bluetooth keyboard that magnetically rests on top of the second screen. There are grooves built into the chassis so it sits neatly in place without directly pressing down on the display underneath. When you need the second screen, you can simply detach the keyboard, and suddenly you have this expansive dual monitor setup in a portable form factor. There's even a built-in kickstand on the back, letting you prop up the screens either in a traditional horizontal layout or even rotate them into a vertical dual monitor mode. It's one of those designs that you'd expect to feel over-engineered, but in practice, it's just well thought out. Included in the package, Asus provides a carrying case and the Asus Pen. The stylus is great for precision input, sketching, note-taking, marking up documents, or editing photos. Coming from the Surface Pro 11, I appreciated stylus support since I occasionally used it for Lightroom edits or annotating PDFs. But here's the catch. Unlike the Surface, the Zenbook Duo doesn't fold all the way back into a full tablet mode. So while the pen is useful, you're still dealing with a laptop form factor. You can detach the keyboard and use the bottom screen as your drawing surface, but you'll never really get a true tablet feel out of it. That being said, having stylus support is better than not having it at all. My only complaint here is that the pen doesn't have a dedicated slot or magnetic attachment on the device itself. You'll need to carry it in the case, which Asus does include. But an integrated solution would have been much more convenient. Now, let's talk performance, because that's really what makes or breaks a machine like this. My unit is rocking Intel's Arrow Lake Core Ultra 9 285H with integrated Intel Arc graphics, 32 gigabytes of memory, and a 1 terabyte SSD. On paper, this is a seriously powerful Ultrabook. In real-world use, it feels snappy, responsive, and capable of handling everything I throw at it, from day-to-day browsing and emails to heavier tasks like 4K video editing in DaVinci Resolve, Photoshop, and Lightroom. Integrated graphics have historically been a weak spot for Intel, but with Arc integrated here, performance is surprisingly decent. It's obviously not on par with a dedicated gaming GPU, but for creative workloads, Intel's quick-sync video acceleration really shines. Exports in Resolve are smooth, scrubbing through timelines is much less choppy compared to the Snapdragon-powered Surface Pro, and overall, this laptop feels like a legitimate workstation. That being said, there are trade-offs. One of the biggest is battery life. The Surface Pro 11 with Snapdragon X Elite was a battery monster, regularly giving me 10 to 12 hours of use without breaking a sweat. The Zenbook Duo, by contrast, leans more toward raw performance. With light use, browsing, writing, maybe some streaming, I was getting 7 to 8 hours out of both screens, which is respectable. But once I started doing intensive tasks like video editing, battery life dropped to around 4 to 5 hours. It's not terrible, but it's definitely not class-leading either. Intel prioritized performance here, and you feel that trade-off. Day-to-day use, though, is where the Zenbook Duo really shines. If you're someone who uses a dual-monitor setup at your desk, you'll immediately understand the appeal of this machine. Being able to throw a preview window on the top screen while editing on the bottom, or watching content on one while taking notes on the other, is a game-changer. I often kept chat apps, reference documents, or downloads on the lower screen while working up top. Both displays are OLED panels with a crisp 3K resolution, 120Hz refresh rate, and 100% DCI-P3 color accuracy. They look phenomenal. Sharp, vibrant, and color-accurate enough for professional creative work. It's rare to see no compromises in panel quality when a company tries something unique like dual displays, but Asus nailed it. Of course, I had to test gaming, because many people will be curious. Let's be real up front. This is not a gaming laptop. With integrated graphics, you're not going to get high frame rates in AAA games. But with some tweaking, you can get a playable experience. I ran Minecraft smoothly with no issues, and even Call of Duty, a notoriously demanding and poorly optimized game, managed to run at around 35 to 40 frames per second. Not ideal, but honestly impressive considering the form factor. For casual or indie games, this will do just fine. For heavier gaming, you're better off with something like GeForce Now or Xbox Cloud Gaming, which this laptop handles beautifully thanks to its strong CPU and great displays. One clever feature Asus added is the virtual keyboard and trackpad on the second screen. With a simple gesture, you can swipe up with 6 fingers to pull up a virtual keyboard, complete with a trackpad. It's surprisingly usable in a pinch. Personally, I wouldn't replace the physical keyboard with it for extended typing sessions, but if your keyboard dies, if you forget it, or if you just need to quickly jot something down, it works well. The trackpad portion is smooth, responsive, and far better than I expected. Of course, since it's an OLED screen, you'll want to be careful about scratches. Jewelry or watch bands could damage it if you're careless. Still, it's a thoughtful addition that adds another layer of flexibility to an already versatile machine. Price-wise, the Zenbook Duo is surprisingly competitive. My Core Ultra 9 model with 32 GB of RAM and 1 TB of storage comes in at $1,700. If you drop to the Core Ultra 7, the price goes down to $1,600. Both models come with the keyboard, pen, and case included in the box. Compare that to the Surface Pro 11, which in the same spec configuration costs $2,100, and that's just the tablet. Add Microsoft's keyboard and pen, and you're spending nearly $2,400. That's a huge price gap for 2 devices aimed at the same kind of user. And while the Surface Pro wins in portability and battery efficiency, the Zenbook Duo demolishes it in multitasking, performance, and value. After spending a lot of time with both, I can confidently say the Zenbook Duo has become my main machine. The combination of performance, dual screen flexibility, great build quality, and a surprisingly fair price makes it the more compelling option for me. It's not perfect. Battery life could be better, the stylus integration could be smarter, and it's not a gaming powerhouse. But for productivity, creativity, and multitasking, this laptop is unmatched right now. If Asus eventually pairs this design with a future Snapdragon X Elite chip that has stronger GPU performance, that might be the ultimate dream laptop. But even in its current form, this is an amazing step forward. At the end of the day, I recommend the Zenbook Duo to anyone who values multitasking, creative workflows, or just wants more screen real estate in a portable package. It's sleek, powerful, surprisingly affordable for what it offers, and it has truly changed the way I work. Despite carrying 2 screens, a detachable keyboard, and a stylus, it still folds up neatly, fits in my backpack, and docks right into my workstation at home. For me, that flexibility is worth everything. The Zenbook Duo isn't just a laptop, it's a productivity powerhouse, and right now, it's my go-to device.